Hey guys, did you know that 66% of men lose their hair by age 35? And the thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. It's easier to keep the hair you have than to replace the hair you've lost. Why do guys turn to weird solutions or do nothing at all when they can turn to medicine and science? Go to 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and other wellness supplements for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. Well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. No snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. Prescription solutions that are backed by science. There's no waiting room, no awkward doctor visits, and you save hours by going to 4hims.com. It's so easy. Order now. My listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to 4hims.com/ATH. That's FORHIMS.com/ATH. 4hims.com/ATH.
Plaschke, Page, Blackistone, McMullen. What a season experience. Seasoned
We're
panel.
called old, Michael.
No.
Go ahead.
Just getting better.
Come on.
Let's dive into this. The C's RFA finally gets PAID LA with a little FYI to MLB. Bama's QB1 still TBD. And DMC goes by that, right? Says, don't be PO'd at me. Nobody wanted me. Y'all want to go around the horn?
WPP.
Seriously, add up the combined experience. How many bylines are on this panel today?
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter.
All's well that ends well as Marcus Smart ends up getting a contract from Boston similar to the one he turned down in October. 4 years, $52 million. And so the Celtics check off their biggest offseason task. Meanwhile, in Toronto, turns out that the Raptors may not have to work all that hard to get Kawhi Leonard to embrace yesterday's trade. Woj says that Leonard is warming up to the idea that he's going to a contender. And oh yeah, he's healthy, and we may get to see a glimpse of that at USA Basketball Camp next week. So here's your job, Jackie McMullen. Power rank this new LeBron-less Eastern Conference. Is a healthy, committed Kawhi Leonard make the Raptors the East best, or does the conference now belong to Boston?
I'm going to say Boston number 1, Toronto number 2, and Philly number 3, but all of them extremely close. The Celtics get their heart and soul of their team back in Marcus Smart. I know he can't shoot threes. Maybe he can never shoot threes, but that's the least of it. He's their defensive identity, and they're one of the best defensive in the league still. Plus, they get Gordon Hayward back, who didn't play at all, and a healthy Kyrie Irving, which some people can question. I believe he'll be healthy. And on the Toronto side, I like this. Kawhi has to play. I find it amusing that we keep saying he's warming up to the idea.
Right.
What options does he have, Michael? If he wants to get paid, he has to show up. If he wants to be a free agent and get big money next year, he's got to play hard.
Exactly.
So I'll keep him at number 2 for Toronto.
KB?
Well, all the changes in Boston are on the upside, right? Because you're getting back your two best players who were injured in Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, and you still got the anointed best coach in basketball in Brad Stevens.
Anointed.
On the other side, with Toronto, you've got Kawhi Leonard coming in for DeMar DeRozan, who's been the face of the team for as long as he's been there. You also got rid of the best coach in basketball, according to his peers, in Dwayne Casey last year, who brought in 59 wins, a record for this Toronto team. And the only thing they couldn't do was get by LeBron James, which is something a lot of people can't do anyway. So I got to still stick with the Celtics as a team to beat in the East.
2 for Boston. What say you, Woody?
Well, I'd say those two guys actually need a little bit more experience, Michael. You didn't even mention the 76ers.
Okay.
I mean, did you forget about what the 76ers, with a taste of the playoffs this past year, with Embiid coming back from injury? I think that, in fact, he could be an MVP-type player this year. Okay. If Ben Simmons can just hit a little bit of his jumpers. I like that team overall. I think that even though Boston's going to be right there in Toronto, I wonder with a new coach and a new player coming in, just replacing the parts there, that it's going to be the 76ers that will end up on top.
Plaschke?
Woody, you're the one that's forgetting something. Boston came within a game of going to the NBA Finals, and they added Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving. I mean, I don't know how anybody can think they're the favorites in there. And I know Kawhi Leonard says he's going to be all in, and he's warming up to the idea of playing in cold Toronto. I don't see him being fully invested there during the season. I see him being like a rental. I see him also, the system has to change. He's somewhat of a system player, not under Popovich anymore. I don't think good things in Toronto. Philadelphia would be good, but Boston, to me, Jackie, you can say, I think they're a clear favorite in the East.
Jackie, clear favorite Celtics?
I think they are on paper for sure. And Philadelphia, I'm not going to sniff at them because they have great upside. But I'm not going to sleep on Toronto either. Remember, Danny Green comes over in this deal and well. And if you're Kawhi Leonard, you have to prove to everybody, number one, you're healthy. And number two, you're still one of the top 5 players both ways. Think about how he's going to improve them defensively.
Thank you.
He's a defensive player of the year, 2-time defensive player of the year. Don't sleep on Toronto either.
That's what I'm saying. None of y'all picked Toronto. Jackie came the closest. They clearly thought that they needed to move on and upgrade from Dwayne Casey, and they clearly upgraded when it comes to Kawhi Leonard versus DeMar DeRozan. They may have the best player in the conference. So I'm with Jackie.
They do have the best player in the conference.
We don't he's healthy. I think it's awfully close.
Michael?
No, we don't. We don't.
Right now.
We're going to be optimistic and positive here. All right, clapback season. The Angels' response, or rather their rebuke of Rob Manfred's remarks regarding Mike Trout's reluctance to help market himself, with a statement calling Trout an exceptional ambassador for the game and a perfect role model for young people everywhere. The team touted Trout's community and philanthropic efforts and applauded him for prioritizing his personal values over commercial self-promotion. The team statement never mentioned Manfred by name, but obviously it was directed at the commissioner. Trout says he's just ready to get back to baseball. Bill, how do all parties look now?
Oh, first off, the Angels, when this statement came out, I called the Angels right away and said, I'm not doing a story. I just want to congratulate you on a great statement. This was an important rebuke of a standing commissioner. It's unprecedented in baseball. I've never seen a team go after a commissioner like that, but they're protecting their own. They're protecting one of the best guys in baseball. Mike Trout may not be flashy, but he does every interview he's asked for. He does every bit of his job. He takes care of his business. He's a great ambassador of the game, and the Angels sticking up for him is huge. The fact he's going to be a free agent in a couple of years also maybe leads into that a little bit. But I think, again, a great move by the Angels, an important move by a team.
Woody, how do you like them going at the commissioner and backing them?
Well, I don't like that Bill makes a call to the Angels as if he were a fan season ticket. Why didn't you ask him some questions for solutions to the problem rather than going, hey, yeah, I love what you're doing. Here's what I got for you, is that Manfred should demand that all of the teams, instead of playing those goof plays throughout the game, promote their players. Show a Mike Trout highlight film during a game at all the stadiums. Why not look around the room in New York and say, let's do more to promote our players with documentaries on MLB. Let's do more appearances for the players. It's not up to Mike Trout to save baseball. It's up to baseball to save itself.
KB, save this conversation.
The commissioner stepped into it completely unnecessarily in this case. He was mic'd up, Mike Trout was, for the All-Star game. I thought that was a great mic'd up interview. Yeah. And then during the game, Harper comes out and says, if you haven't been watching this guy, you've been missing the best player in baseball. The promotion was right there. So what that he doesn't have the hair that Bryce Harper has, or he doesn't have the outward personality, he's not the extrovert that some other guys are in the league. I don't understand why the commissioner would come out and say anything critical of a guy like Mike Trout.
Jackie, isn't the bottom line that this guy's work should just speak for itself? Like, what more does he really have to do other than be one of the greatest players of all time in his mid-20s?
Well, you know how this works, Michael. This is business. It's all about business. And I'm sure Rob Manfred would like to walk this one back if he had the choice. But I'm also guessing that something happened behind the scenes where they may have asked Mike Trout to do some kind of promotional thing and he declined. Now, I don't know that to be a fact. This is just a guess on my part. And I think, you talk about Boston. Michael, you're in the Boston area. You know we've got the same issue here with Mookie Betts. People want more of Mookie Betts' personality. Well, you know what? He's a quiet guy that happens to be a terrific baseball player. That's going to have to be enough in some cases.
Pulaski back in there?
Hey, Rob Manfred, you want to promote Mike Trout? Why don't you put the Angels on more national televised games?
Oh, there you go.
And you want to promote baseball? Why don't you, in the Dodger blackout, where half the families in L.A. cannot see the Dodgers on television? Take care of your own house, Rob Manfred. Don't worry about Mike Trout.
KB, last word.
Wow. Well, you know what? We just talked about Kawhi Leonard on this show. Kawhi Leonard's a guy who doesn't show his personality very much in the NBA, but does the NBA concern themselves when their best players is not out there like that? No, it doesn't. It has other players that sell the game as well.
All right, let's move on to the Open at Carnoustie. Tiger Woods opens with an even par 71. He opened the round with a birdie and was 2 under for the front 9. Keep in mind, his last 8 majors, he was over par through 9 holes. He's missed the cut in 5 of his last 7 major starts. Up and down round overall, but how encouraging a start for Woods is this?
Tiger Woods can win this tournament. I picked him in the pool. he can win this major because it fits his game perfectly. He doesn't have to use his driver, and that's the one thing that's always given him trouble. No drivers. He's hitting 3 irons, 333 yards because the fairways are so hard the ball rolls. That fits perfectly in the game. He's 6th on the tour in strokes saved from tee to green. This fits perfectly in what he does. It's right in his wheelhouse. He can win this tournament. I'm telling you right now, he can win this tournament.
Heard it here first, or maybe not. Woody, what do you say?
Yeah, you should deduct points from him. He can't win this tournament, Bill. He didn't win when he was at the top of his game. He played there twice before, barely finished in the top 10. This course is too tough for him at this age. He woke up with a crick in his back, and so he's got tape on his back. There's so many unknowns that are out the first day playing well. He is not going to beat the guys like McIlroy and Dustin and those people. He just can't do it anymore.
Well, Dustin wasn't too good today, so, that's... What are you asking for points? No. What was that? What was that, KB? What you got?
I'll just say this. We are so excited about Tiger Woods in golf, being able to talk about him at a major. The fact that he's coming into Carnoustie, having 3 top 5 finishes, and everyone hoping and praying that he's over these back problems so that he can be there come Sunday, so that he makes the cut, because he is still the most exciting personality in golf. And you can talk about all these other guys, and none of them measure up to him, even if you put them together. So that's the exciting part about Tiger.
All right, Jackie, enough from those guys. Get in there.
Yeah, so I wish I was as excited, KB, as you were about a guy that hasn't won a major in how long? When do we just start saying Tiger Woods is a little too old and a little too beat up to be the object of our fascination over and over and over again? The grown men like you and others, I hear about this all day long, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. This is the moment for Tiger. Really? When are we just going to say the moment is past?
All right, Woody, get in there.
Yeah, I have 6 points to make. He parred both of the par 5s, and you can't make up any ground if you're not making birdies and eagles on those holes. The last 2 winners at Carnoustie were not the guys who led on the first day. Number 3, in regard to Tiger Woods, he should be using his driver because that's the only chance he's got is to high risk it, high reward it. And number 4, he hasn't played below par in a major since 2013 in the first round. Do you expect him to get better the rest of the week? No.
That's a furious rally, but you said you had 6. That was 4. Unless I misheard you. Where's the other 2?
Well, I'd like to add.
Woody, we'll talk next week. Woody, we'll talk next week. We'll see how we are next week.
All right. Questionable scoring here today. I don't know what's going on. This whole thing just is...
You got a trigger finger there, Michael Smith.
I don't know. Some answers probably deserve more, some less. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Bill, go ahead.
We'll get it together for buy or sell.
Around the Horn is brought to you by 7-Up. Do more with 7-Up.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I should have done this years ago.
Disclaimer, traveling back in time is physically impossible unless you know how to build a functioning time machine. Then by all means, travel 25 years back in time, switch your car insurance to Geico. You could save a bunch of money. While you're there, please prevent your younger self from wearing that sleeveless tuxedo t-shirt, parachute pants, and glitter high tops to your senior prom. And at long last, rectify this horrible crime against nature. Geico is absolved of all liability if you destroy the fabric of time and space.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Buy or sell.
Lasky on fire in the A block. Let's start the buy or sell with a hot take. UNC head football coach Larry Fedora, the latest to come to the game's defense, questioning the link between playing football and CTE at yesterday's ACC kickoff event. Like many, Fedora fears that football will be unrecognizable in 10 years, adding that, quote, if it does, our country will go down too, close quote. Fedora says he's spoken to military personnel who credit the U.S. military's success in part to the number of football players who enlist. Bill, you buying this?
I can't sell this enough. The NFL itself has acknowledged relationship between CTE and football. If I'm a parent of a young man, I'd be reluctant to send him to play for a head football coach who has such an ignorant understanding of the dangers of playing football.
Yeah, the NFL has reluctantly, only recently acknowledged that connection, Woody Page.
He did.
The coach is completely clueless in Carolina. He should just walk over to the dormitory and talk to one of his starting offensive guards from last year. Tommy Haddon, a sophomore, had a concussion problem, was in a concussion state, in the hospital and home for 4 months with his 4th concussion. He's probably going to have problems his entire life now.
KB?
If this was 1998, I could understand it, but this is 2018. The evidence is overwhelming. It would fill up his entire office. It is bigger than any playbook that he has ever seen. I don't see how a coach at this point in time can make that claim.
And Jackie Mack.
And you know what? I don't see how the North Carolina administrators can look the other way on this, KB. Let's fill up his office with all those studies. And let's fly in Mike Webster's family. And let's fly in Junior Seau's family. And let's take all the high school sports teams, not just football, soccer, and all that, and tell this coach, listen, this is a serious thing. The days of players having their bell rung are over. This is an extremely serious thing. It's unbelievable to me that a national college football coach can have this response without any repercussion.
All right, more college football. Nick Saban's first world QB1 problem. The quarterback controversy that he says the media would love to create, have already created, and continue to create. Tua Tagovailoa or Jalen Hurts. Nick Saban said at Media Day yesterday that it's still TBD. They say if you have two QBs, you have none. Well, Saban says he'd rather have two than none. But if Tagovailoa were to win the job in camp, Saban may lose his QB2, as in Hurts could transfer. Woody, are you buying this as a non-controversy the way Nick Saban is trying to sell it to us?
No, I'm selling it. He should reach out to Urban Meyer and say, how did you deal with having three different starting quarterbacks? And he could have come out and said, we have plans to use both of them. Why not bring Hurts in different situations if he's not the starting quarterback? My advice to Hurts is get your degree in December, go somewhere else and play as Russell Wilson and others have done.
KB?
I'm buying it as a non-controversy for Coach Saban, maybe a controversy for all the Alabama fans, but let's not forget he had Blake Barnett, one of the top recruits in the country as quarterback a few years ago, didn't like the way that was going, took him away from the starting job, handed the ball to Jalen Hurts and won a national championship, and Barnett transferred. That's the way it works in big-time college sports.
Jackie Mack?
It does. And I mean, we can say this is a controversy if you'd like, but what do you want Nick Saban to do? You want him to announce who his quarterback is now before camp is open? Do you want him to tell a player who may never play, yes, hey, we might use you in other situations? You don't do that. You let these two guys battle it out, and whoever wins the job wins the job, and you can't worry about anything else besides that.
Bill?
No, you're right, Jackie. Nick can just let him battle it out, but he cannot say it's a non-controversy. I can't think of a bigger controversy in recent memory. One quarterback was 26-2 as a starter. The other one led him to a national championship in the second half of a game. I can't think of a larger controversy. Nick's got to accept that and go with it. It's going to be interesting to see in press conferences this year. He's going to be yelling at the media all year long.
For just another year at Alabama. If you're worried that the addition of DeMarcus Cousins leaves the Warriors with no real competition for another NBA title, just know that he was left with no other option, or so he says. From the Showtime documentary, The Resurgence.
This is my ace of spades. This was my nuclear bomb. So, my last resort.
I'm a warrior. Nice glimpse into how Boogie plays spades. I'm more of a big joker, little joker guy. Anyway, KB, does hearing directly from Boogie change the way you feel about the Warriors signing him?
Not necessarily, because I'd like to know from this documentary, if in fact it's a documentary, whether or not they asked the question about the $40 million that the Pelicans supposedly offered him before he left there. So until that question is answered, I'm not buying it.
Jackie Mack?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but I don't find this too surprising either, Michael. And sources I talked with was concerned about Boogie and this injury, the Achilles injury, the worst injury in sports. Takes a long time to come back, and stats tell us that you never come back entirely the same. And then there's also his temperament. He's not a slam dunk by any means, and this is a year where there wasn't a lot of money out there. Now, if it were next year, I might raise an eyebrow. Not this year.
Phil?
No, I believe he didn't have many offers, if any offers, besides New Orleans, because, again, it's the Achilles, plus he's a distraction in the locker room. It's a combination of things that they don't know when he's going to come back and how he's going to come back. When he does come back, it's really all up in the air. I don't blame other teams for not wanting him.
Woody Page.
Those 28 teams, though, Bill, I mean, they're treating him if he is the boogeyman. I mean, there weren't mid-level exceptions that you could offer to him and take a chance on him. I think it makes no sense at all except for him, because he's going to a team where he'll finally be in the playoffs and have a championship chance.
Well, it's similar to when KD ended up with the Warriors. Unusual set of circumstances. How many teams could fit him into the locker room, number one? Number two, how many teams would he take $5 million from? That's the Warriors. Right. All right, Plasky, KB, Plasky and Jackie, you guys stick around. KB, Woody, not enough.
Gotta go.
Sorry, guys.
LA, baby.
That's how it goes on Big Time
Boston.
TV.
Once again, LA Boston.
I know, right?
star-studded showdown for the second time since Tuesday's All-Star game. An All-Star has been traded. Brad Hand and his 24 saves for the Padres to the Cleveland Indians. The Tribe also getting Adam Simber to bolster that struggling bullpen. Does this move put them on the level of the AL's big three, the Yanks, the Sox, the Stros, Bill Plaschke?
Yes, it does. This is one of baseball's worst bullpens, adding one of baseball's best relievers. Bullpens are what win in October. They had now Andrew Miller's coming back. Great bullpen for the Indians. Great move.
Yeah, second worst bullpen in the all of baseball, Michael Smith. Now you've turned this around in a big hurry. Last year, though, they had a great bullpen too, Bill, and they did not win the World Series. So it's not the only thing that helps you win. They have good position players, too.
Yeah, great get, but I don't know if it puts them on that level with those other.
Oh, it does.
Jackie.
You watch.
Okay. Julio Jones, 8th highest paid wide receiver, wants a new contract 2 years into a 5-year deal, according to The Athletic. The Falcons have informed Jones that they won't renegotiate his deal this year, but they'll give him a raise next year. Jackie, should that satisfy Julio?
Well, it probably won't, but you know what? This is how the business works. Brandon Cooks just signed a pile for money. I'm sure that sticks in Jones' craw a little bit. But you know what? How about some incentives? I heard Bill Polian suggest this. A little incentives this year to get him to the numbers.
Bill?
Yeah, there has to be some compromise there because Julio Jones really has no leverage. He's going to show up. He's going to miss training camp. He'll show up and play. But, you know, that whole team is built on this brotherhood notion. Give him some incentives. I agree with Jackie Mack.
Yeah, 2 years into a 5-year deal, hard to renegotiate, but keep your man happy. I remember the Lakers fans and LeBron, the mural vandals who took issue with the King of L.A. mural. Well, this is probably more like it. It's a mural on Melrose of LeBron looking up at Laker legends. Bill, is this more acceptable?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the vandalism is totally unacceptable in any situation. But this won't be touched. This is how Laker fans are looking at it. They're saying as long as LeBron knows his place, knows he has to win, this is how they want it. So they won't fool with this.
Okay, a few suggestions, Michael Smith, for this mural. Put Karl Malone standing next to LeBron looking up at them. Why does Kobe Bryant look like Spike Lee? And why does Will Chamberlain look like Vlade Divac? Are you kidding me? This doesn't work for me.
We got an art critic here.
This is an L.A. artist. Come on, Jackie.
Come on,
this is an L.A. street artist.
Jackie, you had it. Bill Plaschke, take this showdown.
So as we all know, the Dodgers made a huge trade yesterday, getting Manny Machado for 5 minor leaguers, only one of whom is a top 10 prospect. Unbelievable steal for the Dodgers. But now they have to take the next step. And I mentioned this earlier, Jackie Mack, and you didn't agree totally. Bullpens are what win in October. Middle relief is what wins in October. Relief is what got the Dodgers beat in Games 2 and Game 5 of the World Series last year. Dodgers now go out and get a relief pitcher. Get a Zach Britton. Get a Kyle Barraclough. Get a Juris Familia. Your work is not done yet. The Dodgers have work to do. Get 2 pitchers. Make this thing happen.
Should have gotten Brad.
Our work is done.
Talked about the Nationals.
23 and a half hour break. We'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll close strong. I love the experience today, guys. Thank you for